blueberry pie Oreo balls, and I had to make bars as well, requested by one of my subscribers. I had to try this amazing idea. If I try your idea, I will include it in the video. So if you are a blueberry fan, you're going to love these for sure. I made a blueberry filling that I added to some of them. So let's get started. First up, finding these Oreos was a bit difficult in my area. They're easily found online though. I did the blueberry filling first, so it could cool down. I heated 3/4 cup of fresh blueberries to a small pot on the stove. Then I added some lemon zest, then the juice of half of that lemon, as well as 3 tablespoons of white sugar. I brought that to a simmer, then waited until the blueberries were nice and soft. While it simmers, I started making the Oreo filling. You don't have to, but I pull about 10 of these out, so everyone can try the cookie first. The rest go into the blender. 4 ounces softened cream cheese. Once they are blended up, I add 1 cup powdered sugar. I did it 1/3 cup at a time. Scrape all that dry powdered sugar into your filling. Next, I'm spreading it onto parchment paper and freezing it for about 15 minutes. While that's chilling, I'm checking on the blueberry sauce and adding a cornstarch slurry to thicken it some. I combine a teaspoon of cornstarch with a tablespoon of water. Whisk it up well, so it's not lumpy. I wasn't sure how much I was going to need, so I added half at first, and then I added more. It ended up being too much, so I would maybe do half a teaspoon of cornstarch, or just add an additional tablespoon of water, cause that's what I had to do to thin it out just a little bit. I set that aside to cool down, and I start melting my white chocolate. I was doing 2 colors, a white and a light blue, so I put half of the bag in this pot with a tablespoon of coconut oil. You could use any oil, it helps keep it smooth. I shaped the blueberry Oreo filling into balls and some of them into bars. The ones that were bar-shaped, I put on a graham cracker. I chilled the Oreo filling in the freezer for about 15 minutes. It makes it a little easier to work with and not as sticky. After it chills for the 15 minutes, I did begin to make a little hole in some of the balls and squeezing in some of the blueberry sauce that I made. I will say, out of all the Oreos I have used before, this one is definitely the stickiest. Sometimes adding extra powdered sugar helps, but I didn't want it to be any sweeter. I then placed the balls into the freezer to chill while I made the bars. I have melted these chocolates in a microwave safe cup before, just doing it for 20 seconds at a time so you don't burn it and stirring in between. After I placed some of the Oreo filling onto the graham crackers, I also froze those for 15 minutes, then added the blueberry sauce after it was in the freezer for a little bit. While the bars were freezing, the balls were ready to be dipped into the chocolate. It depends on how sticky your filling is and how loose it is, but I think either method works for me. I have used toothpicks or bamboo skewers. I've also used a fork. Certain methods might be a little less messy. It just depends on the time you want to spend on the details. The bars can be a little bit more difficult to dip. You want to make sure you have enough chocolate to cover them. Mine turned out a bit messy because I was running out of chocolate. After I dipped some in white, I colored the rest of the chocolate light blue so I could drizzle some and also dip some in light blue. Also, this chocolate seemed a bit thin. It was falling off of the bars quite a bit and you could see right through it. So I don't know if it was my food coloring or this brand of chocolate, but I just ended up spooning some on top of where it needed more. Then I also thought a little lemon zest on top might look nice. So after I dipped them, I also chilled them again for about 15 minutes before I cut into them and tried them. You don't have to cut into them, but it's satisfying to me to see if the filling is evenly placed. And sometimes I just want half of one. These can be pretty sweet. So even though these bars look smaller than a normal candy bar, they are very rich. I was perfectly fine with half of a bar. If you have an Oreo idea that you want me to try, leave me a comment. Or any recipes you want me to try, just let me know. Thank you for watching.